Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Municipality of Monroeville's regular council meeting. Today is Tuesday, January 14th, 2014, approximately 7 p.m. If we'd all kindly rise for the Lord's Prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Sharon, please.
Mayor Arsenko.
Here.
Mrs. Gatos.
Here.
Dr. Griesbach.
Here.
Mr. Harvey.
Here.
Mr. John.
Here.
Mr. Clary.
Here.
Mr. Duncan.
Here.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Little.
Here.
Mr. Dice.
Yep, here.
Mr. Hugus.
Here.
Mr. Sedlak.
Here.
Mr. Little, we're going to, and for ladies and gentlemen, we're going to change the agenda a little bit. I will have Mr. Little please read the number one on new business, if you would, please, into the record.
Yes, Council, under Section 702 of the Home Rule Charter, I would like to appoint Doug Cole as the Chief of Police of Monroeville. With the advice and consent of Council, therefore, I'm requesting a motion to appoint Mr. Cole to the Chief of Police position.
Is there a motion on the floor?
I'd like to make that motion that we appoint Doug Cole as the Chief of Police.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, Sharon, please.
Mrs. Gatos.
With honor and pride, yes.
Dr. Griesbach.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Clary.
Aye.
Mr. Duncan.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Doug, if you'll please come on up, I'd like to swear you in, and if your father will come up as well, he can hold the Bible for you and pin on your badge. Let's go, guys. You two over there, and I'll do over here. Doug, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Kenneth Douglas Cole,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the laws and ordinance of the Municipality of Monroeville.
and the laws and ordinances of the Municipality of Monroeville.
And I do further swear
And I do further swear
that I do not advocate,
that I do not advocate,
nor am I knowingly a member of any organization
nor am I knowingly a member of any organization
that advocates the overthrow of the government of the United States
that advocates the overthrow of the government of the United States
or this Commonwealth by force
or this Commonwealth by force
or violence
or violence
or other unconstitutional means,
or other unconstitutional means,
or seeking by force
or seeking by force
or violence to deny other persons
or violence to deny other persons
their rights under the Constitution of the United States
their rights under the Constitution of the United States
or the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
or the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
And I do swear
And I do swear
that I will not so advocate,
that I will not so advocate,
nor will I willingly become
nor that I willingly become
such a member of an organization
such a member of an organization
during the period that I am member of the Monroeville Police Department.
during the period that I'm a member of the Monroeville Police Department.
Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you. Obviously, I gotta speak. Well, thank you, Mayor, for swearing me in. I appreciate that a lot. And good evening to everybody. I'd like to take a moment to express my thanks and deepest gratitude to everyone involved in allowing me this opportunity to continue my public service career as Chief of Police here in Monroeville. May you live in interesting times. This is a saying that has been described as an ancient Chinese curse, but it is in fact a 20th century political science phrase born out of the troubles and intrigue and political upheaval leading up to the destruction and horrors of the Second World War. And thinking about the phrase, it occurred to me that Monroeville has certainly undergone some interesting times. We have seen some more than our fair share of intrigue, political upheaval, and resulting damage during the past year. Despite the tumultuous politics, leadership Monroeville has been subject to recently, I could not be more proud, there's a few standing in the back here, of our police officers who've been there out on the street day in, day out, doing their respective jobs to the best of their ability with honor, dignity, and professionalism. Please give them a round of applause. During my absence, one disturbing image I saw portrayed during council meetings was the former municipal manager describing the police department as her police department. I can assure you, if I accomplish nothing else, it must be clear that this police department belongs to the citizens of Monroeville, and it is bigger than any one individual. I also want to assure you that during my 28-plus years of law enforcement, I have learned that to be a successful community-oriented police department, the overriding tenet that has to be applied from the chief throughout all ranks of the department is that you have to try to be fair. Being fair sounds like a simple task. However, it must be remembered that no matter how difficult it can be, being fair applies to both the victims of crime as well as the accused. I've always tried to apply the simple rule through my career. Much of the feedback and support I received from the community throughout the past year has repeatedly reaffirmed this point. I am positive that no matter how difficult it can be, regardless of media or political pressure, fair and just application of the law will always be an underlying principle that I will follow as long as I serve in law enforcement. Throughout my lengthy career in public service, I have learned that one of the key components to success in any organization is teamwork. I plan to help build teamwork that does not only include the officers who I work with on a day-to-day basis, but includes other members of the public safety community, municipal administrative team, the community leaders, elected officials, and of course the citizens. I have learned that with strong teamwork, respect, and trust, any challenge can be overcome, any task or project can be completed. I know that I'll take the necessary steps to reinstitute these practices as soon as possible. I hold in my hand, I've kind of shared with a few people, pretty extensive to-do list of tasks and projects that have gone undone due to neglect, poor leadership, or lack of cooperation. I know that I'll do my best to accomplish the tasks on my list and to work with all those involved to help reestablish a sense of teamwork and trust in the Monroeville Police Department and the community as a whole. I can assure you that given the lessons of the past year, as we reestablish teamwork and trust, I'll be mindful of that old saying, trust but verify. I will do that. Finally, there are no words to express how truly grateful I am to everyone who has supported me over the past year. The citizens of Monroeville, obviously here tonight, my friends, the Western Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police Association, the Allegheny County Chiefs of Police Association, the Fraternal Order of Police, and certainly currently all the current elected officials. I thank you much. Last but not least, and most importantly, I'm so thankful for the support of my family, especially my wife Darlene sitting in the front here. My daughters Danielle and Jessica, they've been through a lot. My dad Ken that just pinned the badge on me, I'm glad, I hope that's good for you, Dad. My sister Sarah, who's been through quite a bit too. My mother-in-law Ann, who's sitting right next to her. And my niece Lauren, who's hiding in the back somewhere with a phone. They're here tonight with me and stood by me through all these difficult times this past year. I know without their love and support, I would not be standing here today. Again, thank you, Council and the Mayor, and I look forward to getting back to work and tackling the challenges that lie ahead.
One more round of applause.
I want to thank Rob McConnell, who got thrown into a real tough time here. He was a sergeant. He was I guess we'll call him the officer in charge. Please give a round of applause for Rob. Thank you again. Going out on me here?
You can certainly do that. And just to reiterate rather what Doug said, Rob did a really good job, and he certainly deserved that round of applause. He got thrown in, as everybody knows, but I think he did a fantastic job. We really, really appreciate it. I know that I, as mayor, and every one of the council members, as well as the administration. So, Rob, thank you for such a great job. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move over to our State of the Municipality addresses I have to do every January. Section 606G of the Monroeville Home Rule Charter requires that the mayor prepare and deliver an annual State of the Municipality report to the citizens of Monroeville. The past year, 2013, has presented the municipality of Monroeville with budget issues, employee issues, reputation issues brought on by political infighting. The good news for 2014 and beyond is you, the residents, have spoken, and the political climate has changed back to the positive side of the many issues this new council and I will have to deal with. The proposed 2014 budget was not passed by December 31st of last year, as you all are well aware. Council, the administration, and I have to face our challenges head-on. Tough decisions will have to be made, and you will be informed of all of them. One of the biggest issues for the 2014 budget is the loss of revenue due to the reassessments, basically a $200 million drop in property values municipal-wide. And at this rating, right now, we'll lose right around $600,000, according to our tax collector, Mr. Fulkerson. The new manager, Mr. Little, council and I will work on a budget which will meet the needs of our municipality, and yet be a budget you, our residents, will be able to support. Since there is no current budget for 2014, as in the past, the municipality will work under Section 1108 from the Home Rule Charter, which states, if council fails to adopt the budget by December 31st, the amounts appropriated for current operations, in other words, 2013, shall be adopted on a month-to-month basis, with all items in it prorated accordingly until such time as the council adopts a budget. Adoption of the budget shall constitute appropriations of the amounts specified therein as expenditures from the funds indicated, and shall constitute a levy of the property tax therein proposed. Monroeville's economy. Monroeville's economy for 2013 has many bright spots, and yet our growth remains slow, but our pace is moving in the right direction. Item number one, Monroeville Mall is reinventing itself with new additions, such as the 12-screen movie theater, which will provide the municipality with more revenue, improves the quality of life, and our amenities. Business 22 has many new businesses that have opened their doors in 2013. All you have to do is go up and down Monroeville, or I should say Route 22, you will see all the various businesses. Monroeville's unemployment rate is about approximately 6.8% and remains lower than the national average. Our Monroeville's Visitor Bureau, under the direction and leadership of Mr. Logan, continues to bring in new conventions to our convention center, which brings in much-needed revenue and continues to grow. 2014 will also see an increase of new construction and new businesses moving into Monroeville. You will be informed as we move closer to bringing these new endeavors into our town. And I assure you, our staff is going to be busy, which is a very good thing. Allegheny Health Network, UPMC, are growing and providing Monroeville and the region with good-paying jobs. Home appreciation for Monroeville, you may not think this is much, but it has grown 1.75 last year. Believe it or not, our market is still moving in the right direction slowly. If you look around, other parts of the country are still having issues with their property values. Ours didn't go up much, but it's still in the right direction. The median cost of a home in our municipality is $123,800. Here's an interesting fact you may not be aware of in Monroeville. Monroeville's cost of living is 3.5% lower versus the rest of our state on average, and 1.9% lower than the national average. Once again, our local economy is moving upwards, but not at the pace all of us would like to see. So to summarize, 2013 politically was a tough year, but despite the politics, we're still moving in the right direction. Monroeville and its residents have shown resiliency in the past and will for 2014 and beyond. Council, the administration, and I will take the necessary steps to address our budget issues. Our employees and reputation issues, we will resolve them as well. We will have to streamline our local government organization and yet keep all, and I mean all, of our current municipal services that make Monroeville, Monroeville. Our municipality, like many other communities and organizations, have challenges, yet my message is clear, that the state of our municipality is on a steady course. We will continue to court new business development by restarting and maintaining a business-friendly atmosphere. We will also work to ensure we court life-sustaining jobs to lure young families back into our community to live, to work, and play. Without life-sustaining jobs, good economic growth, friendly business atmosphere, our municipality and region will suffer. As stated, Monroeville's on a steady course, and it will remain due to the cooperation of our council, our administration, our employees, and finally you, the residents of this great community. May God bless always America and Monroeville. Keep her free. I respectfully submit our state of the municipality. Thank you. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move over to our public comment on agenda items only. Agenda items only. Seeing none, we'll move over to our approval of our minutes of our council meeting of November 12th, 2013, Citizens Night meeting, December 5th, 2013, council meetings of December 10th, 2013. Any other corrections or additions, council? Seeing none, motion on the floor.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, Sharon, please.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Duncan?
Aye.
Mr. Clary?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Dr. Griesbach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Moving over to our approval of our reports of our tax collections. Once again, council, any corrections or additions further? Seeing none, motion on the floor.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, Sharon, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Dr. Griesbach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Clary?
Aye.
Mr. Duncan?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Moving to our payroll report again, once again, council, any further corrections or additions? Seeing none, motion on the floor.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, Sharon, please.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Duncan?
Aye.
Mr. Clary?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Dr. Griesbach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
And for our list of bills and budget transfers, and again, once again, ladies and gentlemen, I did forget, we did discuss these issues at length at our Citizens and Night and Work session, but again, any other issues with our list of bills and budget transfers, council? Seeing none, motion on the floor.
Motion to approve the list of bills and budget transfers.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, Sharon, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Dr. Griesbach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Johns?
Aye.
Mr. Clary?
Aye.
Mr. Duncan?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
And moving over to our vacancies on boards, commissions, and authorities, council,
I have a few, Mayor.
please.
Before I ask for these appointments, I would like to thank all the residents that apply for the various boards and commissions. It's heartwarming to see the amount of residents that actually apply for these boards, because it can be a little rough. I look at all these I look at all the applications and resumes and try to make the best choice for the community. That being said, I'd like to make some appointments tonight. On the Human Needs and Resource Advisory Board, I'd like to appoint Pamela Barrasso.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Steve?
On the Municipal Authority, I would like to appoint Jack Spillman.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Steve, any others?
Yes, I have a couple more. On the Police Civil Service Commissions, I'd like to appoint Jim Rosenthal.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Any other, Steve?
Lastly, the Zoning Hearing Board, I'd like to appoint Bob Bell.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Any other, Steve?
I believe that's all I have now.
Any other nominations or appointments, Council?
I have one, Mayor.
Please.
I'd like to appoint Valerie Coleman to the Human Needs and Resources Advisory Board.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Any others,
I have one, Mayor.
That's it.
please?
I'd like to nominate Dave Palermo to the Personnel Board.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Any others, Mr. Harvey?
None.
I have one.
Linda, please.
I'd like to nominate Zane Donaldson for the Personnel Board.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Any other nominations or appointments, Council?
Yes, Mayor. I'd like to nominate Patrick Tomasi to the Ethics Board.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
I would like to appoint Mr. Tom Weichel to the Finance Authority.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
And lastly, I'd like to appoint Cheryl Harris to the Municipal Authority.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Any other appointments or nominations, Council? Seeing none, Mr. Little, if we'll go to item number 2 under new business.
Yes, I'm requesting a motion from council to authorize to advertise for a chief financial officer.
Is there a second, or a motion on the floor, rather, I'm
Motion.
sorry. Is there a second?
Motion to advertise.
Questions or comments on this item before you, Council? Seeing none, roll call, Sharon, please.
Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mr. Duncan,
Aye.
Mr. Clary,
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Dr. Griesach.
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
Mr. Little.
Okay, item number 3, under the Home Rule Charter, the municipal manager or department heads have to have approval from council for outside employment. And number 3 is a motion to authorize the outside employment for the interim municipal manager as an adjunct professor at the University of Pittsburgh.
Motion on the floor.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions or comments on this item before you? Seeing none, roll call, Sharon, please.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
Dr. Griesach.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Clary.
Aye.
Mr. Duncan.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Little.
Okay, item number 4 is of the same vein, a motion to authorize outside employment for the interim municipal manager to participate in the Borough Manager's Selection Committee for the Borough of Munhall.
Motion on the floor.
Motion approved.
Is there a second?
There was a second.
Is there a second?
Mr.
Second, Mr.
Wilson.
I thought,
Oh, questions or comments on this item before you? Seeing none, roll call, Sharon, please.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Duncan.
Aye.
Mr. Clary.
Aye.
Mr. Johns.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
aye.
Dr. Griesach.
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Little. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to open up to general public comments. In other words, anything that you'd like to address council, please come on up. And if you signed in, and we do have to grab that sheet, let me grab that sheet, see if anybody else signed there. Anybody on the other sheet there, Betsy? No. Okay. Well, Bob, you're up. Please state your name, that you live in Monroeville.
My name is Robert Serafini. I am a resident of Monroeville for the last 27 years. I would like to respond to the presentation made by the ladies on behalf of the library last Thursday. I think your request for the voters to give you carte blanche by voting to give you a mill raise on your taxes is unreasonable and unrealistic. The library currently has a $1.5 million budget, of which the municipality gives $900,000. You want to bypass our elected officials and receive an additional $2.1 million with no accountability. First of all, a $1 million increase to $2.1 million. The cost of each homeowner would be $100 for each $100,000 assessment. The cost of each homeowner is currently 2.31 mil, up from the previous millage of 2.1 from the previous year. As you can see, we speak of small percentage points when we speak of a raise, not astronomical amounts. I don't want to give 7 people who are appointed to a 3-year term the money to do what they want with no accountability to the people of Monroeville. If the library needs repairs or renovations, as all buildings do, they should look to the officials to budget them the money. Another point I would like to make is that the people from the library are permitted to do this. What's to stop other municipal organizations from doing the same thing? Where would it stop? Thank you.
And just for the record, it's 2.4 million is 1 mil now. It has increased a little bit. Yes. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'll keep the floor open for anybody who would like to address council. Seeing none, we'll close that portion of the meeting and we'll move over to our reports of the officials. Tim, I'll turn it over to you. Anything else for us?
No, I have no comments.
Mr. Dice?
No, Mayor.
Mr. Wilson, we'll start off with you.
Okay. Well, thanks, everybody, for coming tonight. It's great to see this positive support from everyone. It's a happy occasion for me, and I know it's a happy occasion for a lot of the folks out there, Darlene, Mr. Cole, and the chief. Very happy to see this occur tonight. I'd like to thank the police department again. There was a lot of strong support tonight from the police department for Mr. Cole, Chief Cole. Sergeant McConnell, thank you. You did a job, terrific job. Neighborhood Watch. Now that Chief Cole's back in town, we're going to set up the Neighborhood Watch for the Ward 7. And Betsy Desmond and myself and Chief Cole, we will start to work on a program to continue the Neighborhood Watch program. And just a reminder for the 7th Ward, there are some board vacancies available, and if you're interested in any of these boards, please contact me, and I will be happy to sit down with you, explain some of the responsibilities for the boards, and we'll try to make the boards part of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Mr. Duncan?
Yeah, I'll keep this short. I would like to welcome Chief Doug Cole back to the police department. And I would also like to thank Officer McClellan and all of the officers in keeping our department running smooth during the chief's absence. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Caleri?
Welcome back, Chief Cole. I do have a few announcements from the Monroeville Citizen Center. Saturday, February 1st, there's going to be a $500 jackpot bingo, popcorn, desserts, coffee, and tea for a $12 entry fee. It's noon to 12 to 12:45 is when the lunches will be served. They're also doing a trip to the Meadows on February 27th. It's $25 per person. It includes $15 slot play, $5 food credit. Registration deadline is February 20th. AARP tax preparation for seniors. There will be free assistance. It'll be available for low and middle income taxpayers 50 years or older, short forms only. This will be Monday through Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., February 3rd through April 2nd. And you can call the main office, the senior center there, if you need any more information or to schedule an appointment.
Is that it, Paul?
That's all I got.
I'm just going to give you a little break on it. It's the senior center, not citizen center. You'll get beat up for that. I just thought I'd tell you that, okay? You got a break this time because you're new. Sorry, Paul.
I'll take it.
Mr. Johns.
Yes, sir. Congratulations to Doug Cole, our chief. Glad he's back. Thanks to Rob McConnell for all the work he did. He did a good job. It's tough, but he did it. On a lighter side, I was asked, the Planning Commission had a meeting scheduled tomorrow night for the folks that live over in Ward 4 concerning the temple. That's been changed to February 19th at 7:30 to give the residents some time to take a hard look at what they're trying to do down there building that temple off of Saunders Station. Last thing I have is for you folks that live over there near me and down over the hill, remember to put your garbage at tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. I rode around, saw a lot of people that missed it. I'm just trying to give you a heads up so you remember. With that, I'm done.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Harvey.
Yes, when I was campaigning, I told the residents that there would be a day, one day a month, that they could come up to the fire station, sit in a private conference room, and talk to me about anything they wanted to talk about, whether it's the ward or somewhere else in the municipality. I also told them that that way, I think a lot of people sometimes hesitate to come up here in front of the podium and talk on camera. So starting next month on February 20th, I will be at the fire station. We have a very comfortable private conference room that we can meet in. Feel free to stop up and talk if you have anything that you want to address and you don't want to bring it to council or in front of the TV cameras. It's from 6 to 9, and there's no appointment needed. All you have to do is walk in. I'll be there. Secondly, there's another sinkhole, Giant Eagle.
Ah, dear God.
And at least it's not blocking the entrance. It's where all the people used to park for the park and ride. I brought this up to Paul, not that we have to do something about it, but I think he told me that he advised them that they should have replaced that whole line under the first construction. Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, they didn't do it?
They did not.
And now there's another sinkhole there. So I'm aware of it. I don't know how long this one's going to last, but it's right where the Mount Giant Eagle was for so long. And so it's coned off, and most of that end of the parking lot's closed. And last but not least, congratulations again to Doug Cole. Thanks to all the residents for the support and supporting him and us for making that decision. And thanks to Rob McConnell for all his work he did during that very trying time.
Thank you. Dr. Griesbach.
Yeah, and once again, congratulations to Chief Cole and best wishes to him. I'm very confident that he will serve this community well, as he always has in that position. Also, special thanks to Sergeant McConnell as well for doing what he has done in the past few months, and all the other officers in our police department for doing what they do every day. A special thanks to them. I also want to acknowledge Mr. and Mrs. Jim Moore, Jim and Marlene Moore. They have served on the Monroeville Municipal Authority for the past 15 years. They've done a few terms, and I just want to acknowledge their service. Done a fine job in the municipal authority. Certainly appreciates their service, and so does the municipality. And once again, thanks for everyone for coming out and for the positive support. Hopefully there are more positive things happening here in Monroeville and here in council chambers. So I have the council committee selections. I won't read through all of them, but a few that residents are interested in many times are some of the human needs type and human service type committees. The liaison to the library for this year is going to be Mrs. Gatos. I'm sure she'll do a fine job. For the Recreation and Parks Advisory, but I will stay on that position. I'm sure I'll do a fine job as well, or at least I'll try to.
Pat yourself on the back there, Doc.
I'll do my best. That's all I can promise. I will do my best. And lastly, maybe somebody figured out, and we certainly jagged him a little bit already, but Mr. Caleri will be serving as the liaison to the Monroeville Senior Citizens Center.
I was just trying to help my Doc. I was just trying to help.
And their council, of course. So Mr. Caleri will do a fine job there. And there is a long list of some of the other committees which will be handed in for the record. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, sir. Mrs. Gatos.
Yes, first of all, thank you everyone for coming out tonight. I think it's a proud night for Monroeville. It shows that we are taking steps forward in the right direction to bring Monroeville back to what it was. Thank you to Mr. Cole's family for what you had to go through and still standing by him and us, waiting for us to get to a place where we could get him back here and everyone be proud to be able to make that vote. I'd like to thank Officer McConnell for everything he did while Mr. Cole was not able to be there, and to the rest of the police department for holding it together until they could get someone back in place to put the borough back on track. And lastly, thank you, Mr. Griesbach, for the nominations to the boards that you've made for all of us. I'm sure it was tough decisions, and I'm sure we're all served well. So with that, that's all I have. Thank you.
And I'll certainly wrap it up quickly. Obviously, to Doug and his family, it's been a long year, but it's over. And this is one of many new changes you will see. I assure you, as I stated up here, and you heard from the new council, we will make things back to normal, back to right, if you will. So this is the first step of many to come, and I know all of you will support us in that endeavor. As I stated in my state of municipality, we are moving in the right direction. I certainly want to keep it that way. Obviously, to Rob McConnell and all the guys that pitched in our department, to all the employees that helped Tim when he first got put in last week, stepped up, thank you all. It's nice to see a team effort by all the employees here, which certainly benefits all of you, our residents. So let's have a good year in 2014. I'm looking forward to the challenge of our budget. It's going to be an austere budget. It's going to be a tight one. Not everybody's going to be 100% happy with it, and I don't think anybody up here will be either. But it'll be the right move, the right budget for us this year. And with that, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, and good night, ladies and gentlemen.